On the forums, we often get asked the question of what's the biggest thing you can do to improve your dating specifically, and past the obvious ones of improving your looks and actually talking to a lot of girls, which are the main two ways you'll actually get any success. The other one is logistics, which literally just means do you have your own place in the middle of an area that's got a lot of people around. That's all logistics really is. If you can find a high population area and get a really good location, then you've solved that end of the equation. So what I'm going to suggest to everyone now is that if you look at where you currently live and it is not on your own, in your own flat in the middle of the city, then you have some levels you can climb in order to potentially influence your dating specifically. But in this video, I'm also just going to talk about how much better my life already is now that I've actually moved into my own place. I pretty much was always a guy that shared flats. I always enjoyed being around people. So I thought, oh, right, I'll just live with people. It'll save me a lot of money. And I spent the last 2 years either in a hostel living with a lot of people or in flats living with 3 other roommates. And I made the decision when COVID first hit, there were some hotels that were offering really good prices on their rooms. So I could rent a hotel room for my same rent that I was renting and sharing with 3 other people and get a hotel room, which was basically like the size of a studio flat. I'd get the maid service, I would get the concierge downstairs, and I would get, basically it had everything I needed. And it was closer to the middle of the city and it was closer to my work than I was living already. So I couldn't turn it down. And it was the first time I'd ever lived on my own. At first, yeah, you kind of have to get over the fact you don't have roommates anymore. Roommates can be, to some people, they anchor you socially, you don't end up going crazy with the lack of people. It was in the middle of COVID as well anyway, so I was having to deal with just general, more seclusion that COVID brought with it. And I really got into the swing of things. I started building things. I started building another YouTube channel that I don't really post on anymore. I started building a blog. I started giving more back to the community I was a part of, as opposed to just, focusing on my own journey. And all of this was because of the focus I could have living alone. I could build all of my own, routine without having to worry about other people getting in the way. And obviously with dating, you don't have that general annoyance of having to always schedule around your flatmates. You don't always get those, sometimes you get girls who don't want to meet your flatmates as well. I had one girl in particular that wouldn't come back to mine. I had to go to hers because she didn't want to meet the people I lived with, and she didn't live with that many people. So she preferred that I came to her. It's a huge boost to your life in general, but also specifically to your dating life. And I recommend that if you are someone who's looking for silver bullets, this is one of the ones that actually is kind of a silver bullet. Moving to somewhere where the dating apps are there's way more people on the dating apps. There's way more opportunities to go to bars when COVID is normal, obviously. And yeah, you can easily leverage your good logistics to have more success than you would otherwise. Now that I have this idea that I always want to live on my own in my own flat, it was the main thing I was trying to make happen as soon as I got back to the UK. And I put in the few months of work living out of my family house just so I could afford to move into my own place. That's why I actually decided to live at home for once rather than just jump straight into a flat somewhere, which could have been an option, but I decided I would rather save up some money so I could afford my own place. And it's been already, I've only been here 2.5 weeks, and I already think it's the best decision I made. And I've got access to a city, which is right there, 5 minutes to center, and I am loving it. My mind is so much more clear. I can work on all my projects. I can, for legal reasons, I can get back into dating when COVID ends. Yeah, things are looking up. And I feel like everyone needs to decide whether or not they can deal with living on their own, and if they can, and if they can afford it, then you should 100% do that. Especially if you're a single guy, why are you living with flatmates unless it's for money? I don't see any reason why you should have flatmates. I'll say this, even if you have a bad place, the location will make the value of the place. So I would pick a bad place in a good location as opposed to a good place in a bad location every single time. Well, I hope you guys have got something out of this video. I will see you next time. Peace out.